The National Emergency Management Organization is advising that Saint Lucians take all the necessary precautions as Tropical Storm Gonzalo approaches the southern Windward Islands. Deputy Director of Nemo, Maria Maydard, explains that given the unpredictability of tropical storms, residents need to be prepared. Gonzalo is forecast to dump 2 to 5 inches of rain on Saint Lucia and the Windwards.
Whilst we're not expecting the storm to pass directly over Saint Lucia, we will feel tropical storm conditions. We know that we are expecting rainfall, so therefore we are asking people who live in low-lying areas to take the necessary precautions, clear your drains, ensure that you also have enough water should we have a situation with the water. We are also asking people to cut trees, just in case. We're not saying that we're expecting heavy winds. Again, weather is unpredictable. So we are asking people with trees overhanging onto their property, please ensure that you cut those. Work with your neighbors to have these cut. Whilst Nemo is not responsible for cutting those, we still like to advise people to work with your neighbors.
The system is expected to have a more adverse effect on the south of the island. Disaster shelters will be activated but can only be accessed after the inclement weather has subsided.
For the shelters, when people's homes are affected, especially in this situation, it may be a lot of flooding, we are asking you to look at alternatives first and foremost, another family member, a close friend, and so on, to make that your first point for shelters. The shelters, the national shelters that we have, they are open after. Normally they are open after an event. So some shelters, you will note, if we say we have a school or something, it may be in a flood zone. So therefore, if we were expecting a lot of water, that shelter will not be open because of the flooding issue. So another shelter will be open. We also want you to know that if it needs be that you have to go to the shelter, you need to walk with certain things, your toiletries, blankets, and maybe bedding.
The island is contending with a number of challenges: a pandemic, its resultant economic fallout, and now an active Atlantic hurricane season. Nemo reminds the public of the strict protocols at designated storm shelters.
We are in the COVID environment, and we also need to take these things into consideration. Nemo has put together some COVID protocols that we will be enforcing at the shelters, should the shelters be open. One of them is that you need to wear your masks. Okay? We are also trying to look at temperature screening when you enter the shelters. So if you do enter the shelters, you have to do the registration, you will have to do the screening and the mask. We ask that you please be patient. We understand that you would really want your situation to be resolved. You want to be sheltered as soon as possible. But please, we are operating all of this in a COVID environment. So please give the shelter managers and the support staff your assistance and your support, and please be patient.
Nemo is urging residents in areas susceptible to flooding and landslides to take all necessary precautions due to showers and thunderstorms associated with the tropical storm. Meteorologists also advise small craft operators and sea bathers to exercise caution due to rough seas and gusty winds. Saint Lucians are urged to seek information from reliable sources like the Met Service for official updates on the weather system. Colby DeVoe, HDS News Force.